7, text 20, the matter of knowledge of the absolute. Text 20 is not Bahnam Janmanam, right? Text 20 is different words, right? Kama is the 19 is Bahnam
Yes,
Janmanam.
Prabhu. Sorry, something went wrong. Sorry. Just sharing my screen. Sorry, Prabhu.
So, okay. Kama is tai Tajnana Prapadyante Anya Devata Tam Tam Niyamam Astaya Prakritya Niyata Swayam. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires, surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own nature. I can continue this verse, then after that next verse, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So this chapter, we have to understand that this is chapter name is the knowledge of absolute. The knowledge of absolute. So we are speaking about who is the absolute truth. The Lord Krishna is the absolute truth, the supreme cause and sustaining force of everything, both material and spiritual. Advanced souls surrender unto Him in devotion, whereas impious souls divert their minds to other objects of worship. So if we see that, like now Bhagavad-gītā, in this, as it is preface, Prabhupada mentions clearly, worship of different demigods or rendering service to them is not approved. As per Bhagavad-gītā stated in 7th chapter 20th verse, we just read this. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own nature. Here it is plainly, we have to say that clearly. Those who are directly by lust worship the demigods and not in the supreme, not on the supreme Krishna, like no worship of the Lord Krishna. When we mention about the name of Krishna, we do not refer to any sectarian name. Krishna means the highest pleasure, and it is confirmed that the Supreme Lord is a reservoir of all, is a storage of all pleasures, is Rasaraj. If we see the small book of reservoir of pleasure, Prabhupada mentions clearly that how he is the reservoir of all pleasures. And it's confirmed that the Supreme Lord is the reservoir of all pleasures. And we are all anchoring for pleasure. Anandamayo Bhyasa. He says that, like Vedanta Sutra says that living entities like the Lord are full of consciousness and thereafter happiness. The Lord is perpetually happy. And if the living entity is or associate with the Lord, cooperate with the Lord and takes part his association. Otherwise, then they also become happy. When they are associate with the Lord, they are happy. Otherwise, they have to face the consequences. Prabhupada says that if you are like, man proposes, God disposes. Although Krishna is far away in his own abode, Goloka, but once we start meditating on Krishna, so then we are, as soon as we start thinking of Krishna and meditating of Krishna, then we are connected to him. So he also very near to Paramatma Super Soul in everyone's heart. We know that. We heard how he is Super Soul in everyone's heart. So he's not only in Super Soul of human beings' heart, he's Super Soul for the even demigods also. So through Super Soul, we worship demigods. Until unless Krishna's wish, they cannot sanction anything to us. Why? Because Krishna gave them the sanction. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it mentions in 6th canto. When we were discussing of this Chitraketu, so he was suffering with child. He has not have got any child. So he married many wives. First one wife, second wife, third wife, 10 wives, 100 wives, then 1,000, like that. So many wives he married. Still, he did not get a son. Until unless if he is not if Krishna is not sanctioned, you cannot get the seed in the womb. Barren land cannot produce a grain. So we have to understand that. It's simple. In everyone's heart, like a Super Soul expansion, Krishna is the friendly companion. It accompanies us in whatever material body we get. That's what. Whatever material body we get, he accompanies along with the soul. As in whatever. So he witnesses our thoughts and actions. So we know sometimes we say that, okay, my sixth sense is saying that. How do we know that? How do we understand actually sixth sense says that? Because Super Soul, Super Soul transforms this message to others. We all heard about telepathy. How does it works actually? Sometimes we were we meditate on someone, near one, dear one. When we meditate, it is not meditating on Krishna, definitely as equal as meditating on Krishna, but our thoughts are filled up with so many people. So we meditate on them. Sometimes we think it is not exactly pure as meditation on Krishna. So we think in material aspect, okay, somebody we remember them. So the close one, then immediately they understands that. Okay, how do they understand? Okay, then either you call them or they call you. It's vice versa, because the Super Soul transforms that because your both hearts have been already connected and transmitted, in the loop. So in that aspect, as soon as a person remembers the particular person, the Super Soul conveys the message to the other person Super Soul, then immediately they do remember, or else they call us. Some of them have definitely experienced in our life how it works. And we get the witness our soul thoughts, responding to our desires. He provides us various types of intelligence. He gives us both memory and forgetfulness. Krishna says in Bhagavad-gītā in 15th chapter also, so I am the remembrance and the forgetfulness. So he gives the knowledge accordingly. So when it is needed, so he make us to remember. At the same time, he make us to forget. So that Krishna, I was watching one video yesterday that this discussion, some three people were discussing about ISKCON and Bhagavad-gītā as it is. So it was so funny. At the same time, whatever their mind and their speculation leads them, so they are going in that way. They jump here and there, here and there. What their discussion is that, how come, like, they can, ISKCON can say that demigod worship is not good, and why only we have to, they're saying, see, in Sanatan Dharma, all, like, worshipping all the gods is mentioned. There is no differentiate. So we are also making like sectarian kind of approach, like other religious people make. It went around 32 minutes. So I was watching actually why these people are simply, and they have a different opinion on ISKCON, at the same time Bhagavad-gītā. So their main idea is that, you see, they're mentioning Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, they're all demigod, and we should not, like, worship. So the discussion was that why it is like that, and their discussion point is that, you see, we heard that even Lord Rama worshipped Shiva. Okay, that's good, but it is not simply like, three people, three fools sit and discuss, and they draw the conclusion. It doesn't make sense. We have to understand that if you really want to understand something about Krishna, you have to sit and discuss with a knowledgeable person who really knows about Krishna, who really knows about Krishna, and who is connected to Parampara. And they are also mentioning that, like, they're saying that, okay, this ISKCON is coming through Madhva Sampradaya, Madhva Parampara, Madhvacharya and all. But Madhva Sampradaya, they have their own style of wearing clothes and their own style of putting tilak. Okay. And ISKCON has their own style of putting tilak, and own style of clothes, and their own style of worshipping. And there is no connection. That was their discussion. So when you are not clear what you are thinking and what you are talking, then obviously it makes you definitely speculate on all the aspects. Either it is about Krishna or it is about material things. So in general, for what purpose we worship the demigods? Immediate benefits. So we do watch in villages, in those world, now I don't know, I rarely see. Maybe some people are like, for health benefits, they're doing some yoga. While doing yoga, Surya Namaskar, they do that. This is the best, like, Surya Namaskar, that Palasanas make you a little fit and fit enough. At the same time, you get some healthy benefit by doing Surya Namaskar, because Surya Dev, he was keep us good health by worshipping Surya. The purpose is that to keep ourselves healthy. The main purpose to keep ourselves healthy is to serve Krishna. If that is not the motive, then we are definitely in a wrong track. We have to understand that. Even Prabhupada mentions in this verse very clearly, like, small baby is speaking, I don't know. Okay, we souls can't do anything without the super soul's sanction. Like the demigods, they cannot themselves sanction anything without the support of Krishna. He is the ultimate. We already discussed many, previous chapters. Sanctioner, and who is the controller, and Prabhupada gives a good analogy that if a person pours water on the roots of the tree and trunks of the trees, there is a lot difference. So this also like that. Worshipping the demigods is like that, and he helps us to stay in this world if that's our wish. That's how, So, and when we decide to respond to his call, he will definitely help us develop love for him and leave this world for good. So, in this verse, it says that, kama is there, pratat jnana. Pratat jnana means, so we deprived of knowledge. That means, yeah, those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires. This is very important thing. So because of we are fully engrossed in material aspects. Unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to. And Prabhupada says one of his conversations that if a boy wants to marry a good, beautiful girl, he has to, in order to get a beautiful girl, he has to worship the, whom to worship? Anyone have idea? So Devi worship, like Parvati Devi, Durga Devi, we have to worship them. It has been stated that even those who worship me with material desires become liberated by the power of devotion to me. Even a tinge of material desire we may have, but the tinge of bhakti, at the same time one should have towards Krishna. Still, it is material desires or mixed with the devotion, but still Krishna shows mercy on us. But those who worship devatas because of desire for immediate happiness continue to take birth. So Krishna is mentioning that those who worship for the material happiness, those continuously to take the material, birth. It is very huge thing to understand. Again, if a person take birth, because the whole purpose is to become a devotee, is that to ourselves coming out of the life cycle, birth, death, disease, old age. Ahara nidra bhayamaituna. Why this ahara nidra bhayamaituna? This is there in the common in every living entity. The only difference is that the human beings have some intelligence. Because of that intelligence, so it makes a lot difference because of that intelligence. So one who has really has intelligence and keep that intelligence in right direction, they are definitely the followers of Krishna. The previous verse, it says, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate. Like, we know that verse, we heard that. Any one of other, any of the other three types becoming a jnani after many paths, attains me through the service, devotees association. He understands that Krishna is everything. His mind is attached only towards Krishna. Such a person is very rare. the final position, like what is the conclusion in that previous verse is that then who is jnani and who worships me, who- after so many births, so one person understands that. So who is Krishna? What is his real position? One's own position. Then he start following. But at the same time, one who just simply worship for some material happiness, for the demigods, worshippers, they have to take birth again, like with various desires. Such as desire for the relief from the suffering. And how do we understand, like, which gives us relief from the suffering? That is very important. Like, we see that in villages, still during just recently last Ekadashi, that is first Ekadashi, in villages, in farmers, especially in villages, farmers, in first Ekadashi, before Ekadashi coming, so they they plow the land, okay, that agricultural land, they plow the land on the Ekadashi day for the namesake. If it rains before, so they are bit ready for that, okay. Mm, first rain comes, right? So by that time, they will be ready to cultivate. They'll make land to cultivate. They'll make ready to cultivate the land. Especially what they do, they they remove all the bad plants, whatever, so weeds, and they make it ready. In the Ekadashi day, they take cow and they take some puja paraphernalia, and they worship cow. At the same time, Mother Earth, land, that agriculture land, they worship. So they do process. Why? Because the rest of the year is they have to work on the land, and they expect the mercy of land and Krishna to show uh, a good result to produce the grains, to sustain for a whole year. That was the purpose. And if it is, they become devoid of intelligence, like Kritajnana, thinking that sun god and others can quickly destroy sickness or the problems, but the Vishnu cannot. The point is that when people are worshipping the demigods, okay, this god will give us this benefit. That means they deny that the truth is that, okay, only this particular god can help us. At the same time, they're denying that the final giver, the real producer or real giver is Krishna. So that they forgot. That is like, really ignorance. The fool is like, because of their many desires, worship various devatas, adopting various rules under the control of their individual desire. So that we have to understand that. We have to worship Krishna for what purpose? Devotion. Even Krishna says that even tinge of desires they have, if they come and surrender to me, the ultimate goal they will achieve. But here, ultimate goal, we are forgetting. The ultimate goal is that we are making it as permanent. Is we are not making it as a like practice in our life. The permanent goal we are forgetting. Then we are focusing on temporary goal. The temporary goal is that to become happy in the particular situation, in particular purpose. In order to achieve that, we go and surrender to so and so particular demigod. So at the same time, the worshipping demigod is not a harm, but we are denying the Krishna, who is the real father of all the even devatas and us. So the particular rules, tam tam niyamam, controlled by the, in this verse he says, and tam tam niyam, the controlled by the individual impressions. Prakritya swaya. This means the impressions are such that it makes us to oppose, to surrender to Krishna. And Prabhupada also mentions in the introduction of Bhagavad-gītā, he says that, okay, what he says that, okay, let me see that. I just gone through this morning. So I was going through that. So Prabhupada says, and before that, I'll just explain. Those, let me just. And Lord descends this mortal world to show his pastimes in Vrindavan. Krishna personally came to show his pastimes in Vrindavan, so which are full of happiness. When Lord Krishna was in Vrindavan, his activities with his cowherd boy friends, with his damsel friends, with other inhabitants of Vrindavan, and with the cows were full of happiness. The total population of Vrindavan knew nothing but Krishna. But Lord Krishna even discouraged his father Nanda Maharaj from worshipping the demigod Indra. We all know that. For what purpose we worship Indra? To get a rains. So what we achieve to get a rains? So we experienced recently, last few months, 2 months or 2.5, 3 months, we are experiencing in some parts of India, like it is so hot. So we see that like, no, it is so hot. Okay, when rainy season comes and all. But actually, this thought is very like, so in that, when we think in that moment, this how long when rains comes, that means it is a material aspect. So it's material aspect, definitely, because we are seeking some bodily happiness, we are suffering. Because of suffering, we are remembering Indra, but at the same time, we are not remembering Krishna. We are fully engrossed in bodily attachment. So now Prabhu is I just how to unattach. We'll discuss this question after the session. So definitely I'll give some time, 1 or 2 minutes. Okay. So because he wanted to establish the fact that people need not worship any demigod. They need only worship the Supreme Lord, because their ultimate goal is to return to his abode. Krishna's ultimate goal is to bring us back to his abode. So see, even we don't have desire to go back home, back to Godhead, but Krishna is desiring us to come back to his abode. So we have to understand that how to grasp and how to make this become successful in our life. So based upon that, the purpose of worshipping Krishna will be fulfilled. So we go to next verse. Yo yo yam yam tanum bhakta shraddhayachitam vichati tasya chalam shraddham tam vivavidami aham. I am in everyone's heart as the super soul. As soon as one desires to worship some demigod, I make his faith study so that he can devote himself to that particular deity. So, especially this 20, 21st, 22nd, 23, these 4 verses are like, a group of verses. It shows us what are the consequences than the worshipping demigods and impersonalism. Okay, having described the 4 types of people who do not surrender unto him, Krishna, he describes the position of those who surrender to someone and else instead of him. So he describes surrender to demigods, and it describes the improper surrender to the impersonalists. So who does demigod worship? Thus, those whose intelligence is stolen by material desires. We already discussed this verse. And so in this verse he says that I give faith and results to them. He himself is saying, I give faith, and he sees, I make his faith study so that he can devote himself to that particular deity. So worship of the particular demigod, and thus they attain their respective desires. But in actually, it is I who bestow those benefits. You have to understand that Krishna himself is saying that I will allow, as soon as one desires to worship some demigod, I make his faith study so that he can devote himself to that particular deity. So God gave independence to everyone and doesn't interfere with it. As a super soul in everyone's heart, he understands their desires, facilities, and directs them to particular demigods for fulfillment of their desires. Demigods and power are powerful, but their power comes from Krishna. So I will give one simple example as my understanding. So when we check the power sachet with the tester, when you insert into sachet, we understand that whether power is there or not. So we see when light up in the tester, that either red, green, or blue, any form of light. So we understand that there is some electricity. That electricity is energy coming through energy, power energy. Okay, that electricity. So in order to get that electricity into this sachet, that particular board, we need a source to distribute to us. The source is somewhere located. Where it is located? Either it is outside of the house or outside of the next to the street or outside of the village, or big transforms we see in the villages and at the same time towns. The point is that the every person's energy is coming through the super energy. Who is that super energy? Super energy is Krishna. So that we have to understand here. So God, we just demigods are powerful, but their powers comes from Krishna. So they cannot independently bestow boons without Krishna's actions. So how do we understand that? Without Krishna's actions, until unless Krishna sanctions, so there is no uh, there is no sanction from the demigods, like that. Like now, so-called we talk about this one. Prabhupada, like now, as a king maintains his kingdom and subjects, but nevertheless, he gives special attention to the members of his family. So the personality of Godhead gives special care to his devotees who are souls completely surrendered to him. So one who surrenders to Krishna, so Krishna gives full care to a particular person. Until unless if you are not in that situation, so you cannot gain the favor from the Krishna. Those who worship me, giving up their activities unto me and being devoted to me without deviation. So Prabhu, you asked question, right? How to unattached? Sorry, 1 second. Let me see the question. What was that? How to unattached, Prabhuji? Unattached to what? Unattached to what, Prabhu? Unattached towards Krishna? Or so it is not clear. Anyway, I understood that unattached to the material desires, because we are talking the topic. So me and being devoted to me without deviation, at the same time, so engaged in devotional service and always meditating upon me, engaged in devotional service, always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me. So then Krishna is saying that one who fixes their minds upon me, then definitely they will achieve the ultimate goal. What is that ultimate goal? So to go back home, back to God. Some may ask why the all-powerful God gives facilities to the living entities, okay, for enjoying this material world, and so lets them fall into trap of the illusory energy. The answer is that if the Supreme Lord is Super Soul does not give such facilities, then there is no meaning to independence. Therefore, he gives everyone full freedom, independence, whatever one likes. He has left for us independence, like our own will. But his ultimate instruction we find in Bhagavad-gītā is that one should give up all other engagements and fully surrender unto him. That will make man happy. We also say that Krishna, what he is saying that Sarva Dharman Parityajam Mamekam Sharanam Vaja. So you give up all, like, roles, duties and responsibilities, roles. So rules and responsibilities, then so definitely, so you surrender unto me, you give all the religious activities and all this. So you work for the soul's upliftment. That the ultimate goal is that to back home, back to God. So automatically one achieves that stage. At the same time, so one should understand that we have to, even though we worship demigods, but final sanctionary is the Krishna. So one who understands that the final sanctionary is Krishna, then they worship Krishna, their life becomes successful. I hope, Prabhu, your doubt also. So you are saying unattachment. How to unattach towards this material desires? So we have to make sure that we have to worship Krishna and give up all the material attachments, and you have to develop the taste and attachment towards Krishna. By engaging ourselves towards Krishna, slowly Krishna will take away all unwanted desires and disqualifications from our heart and mind. So it comes through daily practice, keeping ourselves focusing on Krishna, chanting his holy name, and honoring prasad, which is touched by Krishna, and visiting the deities, offering prayers to the deities and association of devotees, following instructions from the Guru, Sadhu and Shastras. It makes us become qualified to attach towards Krishna and slowly unattach towards material desires. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyo vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. If one who have full faith on Krishna, and at the same time to have Krishna in our life, we need a proper guide, and at the same time Vaishnavas association, Vaishnavas Krupa. So meanwhile, like when we are engaged in devotional services, we do commit offenses sometimes, but when we are entering into temple, we just pay this Vaishnava Pranam. So whoever is assembled in the temple, so we offer our respects to them for gaining some bhakti towards Krishna. So it will make us progress towards Krishna. Okay, right, Prabhu? Does it make sense? Okay, I'm done with this. These two verses of this today's discourses. Any comments and any suggestions? Please let me know so how can I serve you all in a better way. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dhanavad pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Samantra Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna to everybody, Dhanavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Sorry.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much. Dandavat Pranam.
I hope there is no any doubts, right? Okay, Prabhu, we'll end.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Jai.
Thank you, devotees.
Nanda
Hare
Maharaj,
Krishna.
Srimad Bhagavad-gītā ki.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki.
Jai.
Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyo vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.